Good everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we want to solve this problem in algebra where we are told that 16 multiplied by 32 to the power of n minus 2 to the power of 3n minus 2 times 4 to the power of n plus 1 all divided by 15 multiplied by 2 to the power of n minus 1 times 16 to the power of n minus 5 to the power of n all over the root of 5 to the power of 2n. Now, this aspect of algebra is indices. We are going to apply the principle of indices in order to what? Simplify this question, right? So in simplifying it, the first thing you have to do is to discover that the denominator here that the arrow is pointing is the same for both this aspect of the equation and this aspect of the equation. So both of them have a common denominator, right? So what you do, if you recall, whenever I have A plus B all over C, right? Or I have A minus B all over C, it is simply as saying A over C minus B over C. You can separate it that way because they have the same denominator, right? Now, if you now go back to our question to implement this rule, if I'm to write it, I'll be writing the first one here, which is 16 multiplied by 32 to the power of n divided by, I'll put it, divided by the what denominator there, which is what? 15 multiplied by 2 to the power of n minus 1 multiplied by 16 to the power of what? N, right? That is one aspect, one section. Then minus the other one, which is saying 2 to the power of 3n minus 2 multiplied by 4 to the power of n plus 1 all divided by 15 multiplied by 2 to the power of n minus 1 multiplied by 16 to the power of what? Of n. You see, I have separated it. Both of them have the same denominator. That's why I split the denominator into both of them, right? So minus 5n, 5 to the power of n all over 5 to the power of 2n all raised to the power of what? 1 over 2, because another way of writing root sign is by putting 1, and another way of writing the square root sign is by putting 1 over 2 and the power. Now we move forward. The next thing we have to do is to take everything you see here to a number in base 2. Since the lowest number we have there is base 2 and 5, right? So everything should be in that value. So let's apply that and see. Let's implement it. So another way of writing this 16 is 2 to the power of what? 4, right? Another way of writing 32 is 2 to the power of 5, then it has the power of n on it, which will now give us 2 to the power of what? 5n, just like you can see that. Now, divided by another way of writing 15 is still leave 15 the way it is. Another way of writing 2 to the power of n minus 1, you still leave it the same the way it is. Then another way of writing 16 is the same as writing 2 to the power of 4, then to the power of what? N. Is that taken? So what we'll do is, if you multiply the n and the 4 together to give you 2 to the power of what? 4n, right? So we move forward. Minus 2 to the power of what? 3n minus 2, right? Multiplied by another way of writing that 4 is writing 2 to the power of 2. So we're having 2 to the power of 2 into bracket n plus 1. Now, if I expand this, it will be 2 times n will be what? 2n plus 2 times 1 will be what? 2. So this is another way of writing that. We'll now be having 2 to the power of what? 2n plus 2. Is that taken? All divided by 15 into bracket 2 to the power of what? N minus 1 multiply by 2 to the power into bracket 2 to the power of what? 4n, right? Now this is what we have, minus 5 to the power of n divided by, now if you multiply that 2n times 1, we're having 2n all over 2. Then the 2 here will equate the 2 here. We're left with what? Just n, right? So we're having 5n over what? 5n. So we are done with that aspect. We'll move forward. Now if you discover that everything here is now in base what? Base 2. Now I'm going to take those denominator here upward. So I have to write it out to now be 2 to the power of 4, right? Multiply by 2 to the power of what? 5n. Then I'm bringing this one down. Which one? This particular one the arrow is pointing, which is 2 to the power of what? N minus 1, right? If it's coming up, the n minus 1 will have a negative sign. Why? Now let's recall. If I have a all over what? B to the power of n, the same thing as writing a multiplied by what? B to the power of n. Now because the b to the power of n is coming to the numerator from the denominator, I'm going to introduce a negative sign to show that what? It has moved from the bottom to the top, right? That's what I applied here. So when the n minus 2 is power n minus, when 2 is power n minus 1 is coming up, it will now become 2 is power what? N minus 1 in brackets, and you put a minus in front of it because the minus is affecting both of the values inside the bracket. Now when the 4 is coming up, 2 raised power 4 is coming up, it will also have a negative sign. So we're having 2 raised power minus 4n, all divided by 15. Minus, now we have 2 raised power what? 3n minus 2, multiplied by 2 raised power what? 2n plus 2, multiplied by, if the 2 raised power n minus 1 is coming up, just like we did the other time, to now have minus, to now have 2 raised power what? Minus n minus 1 in brackets this way. Multiply by, when the 2 raised power 4n is coming up, there will also be a negative sign. So we're having 2 raised power what? Minus 4n. All minus 5n divided by 5n will be what? 1 over 1. So we're having our 1 over 1 there, right? So we move. Now in indices, recall, whenever you have a to the power of m times a to the power of n times a to the power of what? Of x, it will be a to the power of n plus x. You're going to add the power when they have the same base, right? You pick one of the base and you add the power. So that's what I'm going to apply. I'll pick one of two in each of the equation, which will now be 2 to the power of the 4 plus 5n minus times n will give you minus n. Write it down. Minus times minus 1 will give you plus 1, right? Then minus 4n. So I've picked up all those there we have. Then all divided by 15 minus, you do the same thing, pick one of the two. We have 2 to the power of what? 3n minus 2 plus 2n plus 2. Then minus times n will give you minus n. Minus times minus 1 will give you plus 1. Then minus 4n. All divided by 15 minus 1 over 1. So if you do that, you could discover that 5n, you discover that 4 plus 1 is 5, right? I'll write down the 5. Then we have 5n minus n is what? 4n. 4n minus 4n will give you 0. So we're left with just 2 raised power what? 5 plus 0, since I'm saying 5. Is that taken? So 2 raised power 5 divided by 15, that's for that part. Minus, now we have 2 raised power, if you subtract 3n, if you add 3n plus 2n, you'll be having 5n. 5n minus n will be having what? You'll be having 4n. 4n minus 4n is 0. So we're left with what? We have minus 2 plus 2 is what? 0. Then we have just what? Just 1. So we're left with 2 raised power what? 1. This is what we have here. All divided by 15 minus 1 all over 1, right? So from here we know 2 raised power 5 is what? 32. That will have a 2 over 15 minus 2 raised power 1 is 2. That will be 2 over 15 minus 1 all over 1, right? So what you do here now, you look for the LCM. The LCM here will now be Since they have the same denominator, so 15 in 15 is 1. 1 times 32 is 32. 15 in 15 also is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So we have 32 minus 2. Then 1 in 15 is what? 15. 15 times 1 is what? 15. So we have minus 15. So 32 minus 2 minus 15 is what? 15. All over 15. And 15 divided by 15 is what? Is 1. So this is how you can simplify this kind of question. So if you have found this video helpful, please don't forget to what? Click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.